Welcome, everyone, once again to the Asia Games qualifiers. We're back in East Asia this time, as Heimerdinger at maximum volume gets banned away. Macau versus Japan in this qualifier match. And this actually looks to be quite exciting. Japan, with a rather unexpected showing in the Asia Games qualifiers, have been putting on an excellent show. Yutori, Mayashi, and Seros have been all over the place in their previous games. That said, Macau has been doing some pretty good work themselves, so we'll see if Macau can bring Japan down or if it'll go the other way around. I'm Dom. Joining me is Raz.
Yeah, and here's the thing. The basics of researching Japan is knowing that Seros has a damn good Heimerdinger.
Yes.
So take
Number
that
one.
away. Just literally wipe it off the map, and you can tell Macau's been doing the homework. So that's what I like the most. You already talked about the combination, the players in Japan coming through. You can see the skill of Seros coming in from Detonation Focus Me. Yutori Mayashi, we saw him at MSI. So a lot of the players coming together. It's going to be a lot of power here, so let's see if Macau can deal with it.
Absolutely a stacked lineup as we get through the final ban. Kaisa and Ezreal are the final two, taken away from Tak and Yutori Mayashi. Just to remind everyone, this is being played on patch 8.10. So Ezreal still not quite to that nerfed state. He's still super, super strong on this patch. But that does mean that Camille is still very, very high priority right behind that Aurelia. Macau set their eyes on it and lock it in. We'll see if that goes to NH in the jungle to contest those Scuttle Crabs or if it's used as a counter for a lane bully as Japan now look for their own answers.
I would say that the Lulu needs to get taken away. A combination with the jungle Camille is the Lulu. Just because not only will your level 2 be strong, you can also amplify her level 6.
Yeah.
So, needs to be taken away. I wonder what they can utilize with Lulu. Remember that with the Master Yi being struck out, that's not going to be a combination. Remember, with 8.10, you can actually still do the resource funding thing.
Yeah.
Likely not going to happen with the combination.
Well, I mean, with the Master Yi band, that makes it a little bit tough.
I mean, in terms of, like, Graves is still up. So you can still, like,
the Graves,
there are
Lulu,
millions
Graves,
of champions
Tarek.
you can still use for that. So with Yi out of there, you can still believe that Astra will have a few champions that he would like to. Just don't feel like it's going to happen here.
Yeah. Well, now the Ornn is locked in for Japan. We'll see where that ends up going as Macau. If they can't get their Lulu, might as well get the next best thing. Karma locked in for Macau. We'll see what the next answer is going to be, as already this composition is starting to look pretty scary. And Zoe has been massive priority on the professional in the professional leagues on patch 8.11. That's actually left open fairly late into this pick and ban, all the way to going pick number 5.
And remember, with both Yasuo and Aurelia being banned out, Zoe is so much safer here. So Zoe is just being seen as the best blind pick mid laner. That being said, LeBlanc is still available, so a few people have been going LeBlanc up against the pick. Malzahar is being hovered, and this is one of the few times I could talk about hovered champions because Malzahar makes sense versus Zoe. That level 6, it's so much easier to just hold her down. So
point and click, yeah.
Exactly. Makes it so ganks in the mid lane is so much easier. I already love the 3 champions that we're seeing out of the Japanese lineup of Malzahar, Lulu, and Ornn, so it's very apparent that team fighting is the way to go.
Yeah, we're still looking to see what that jungle is going to be. I was just about to mention, if they do have the Malzahar, they need some sort of jungler to follow it up. Well, instead they prioritize it the other way around. Xin Zhao for Astarorae.
There we go. I mean, they must have been aware of the fact that jungle's being stricken out with just the Yi means that they needed the Xin Zhao early on. They could technically, they do get first pick on second phase, but because they didn't want it getting banned out in first phase, knowing that jungle got picked out by Macau, and Macau would very naturally start banning out jungles in the second phase. So no, not going to happen. They're likely just going to be focusing out the mid lane.
It's going to the other way around now for Japan. They can start to ban away from Macau on the other side if they expect that Camille to go anywhere else. But still, like you said, we're looking to see what the remaining composition for Macau is going to shake out to be. Still a lot of very powerful champions, as Misfortune is banned away from Tak, along with that Kaisa to comfort champions to see him down there. But that does mean support for Enti is still wide open. Why not get rid of the engage? You've already got the Xin to dash in. You've already got Call of the Forge God. Just get rid of the quickness in the Grand Entrance.
Yeah, Rakan was very powerful in the previous meta. Still powerful today just because of how many melee champions there are. But without Xayah being available, you definitely want to strike it out. Remember, first pick is still for Japan, so Japan could very easily win Rakan then Xayah. So we'll see if the next one's going to be a support ban as well, or if they just go directly towards an AD carry. If they go for Xayah anyways, that'll be interesting to me.
Yeah, certainly still a lot of champions that can flesh out Japan's roster. That Ornn could even go towards support or bottom lane, whatever the two is at this point in the current meta. Nobody really knows what lane is called what at this point.
That being said, remember it's 8.10. So
yes.
with 8.10, the crit items have not been damaged.
80 carries, though they might have their base scaling toned down a little bit, still do. We are now recorded right back in. That final ban is Braum.
Oh, there we
go.
We're
back. We're back on track.
So it is another support that gets banned out because they're fairly confident that the Lulu can go in towards the mid lane, but a Lulu and a Varus sounds pretty damn good in the bottom lane to me. So great that Japan, with their last pick, can go towards an either support or a mid laner pick.
And now we'll see what the next champion is going to be from Macau to try and deal with that. Like you said, rounding out that composition, Tristana still very strong with the crit items and also capable of trying to match that wave clear of Varus, though that is going to be a bit challenging for TAC to dodge the constant harass that we would be expecting from that Lulu Varus. And still on the top lane, Cho'Gath, just as strong as ever, walk up to a champion and press R. That's a pretty good way to win a team fight.
Yeah, but through the laning phase perspective, I still like what I see here in terms of Ornn's going to push in the Cho'Gath pretty consistently, and then Varus is going to do the exact same towards the Tristana. So I would only look towards Karma in the lane and see what support she's going into. If it's going to be a tank support, then she's going to have power there. But with the Soraka being hovered, and remember Japan is a region that loves to have the Soraka. The laning phase itself is very slim. It's not going to be the Soraka.
Also a good one. Yeah, the Thresh is also pretty great.
Wow.
Excellent opportunity for pick now set up from Japan. They also have found themselves some pretty good engage. You set up the Call of the Forge God to come in from behind them, and then the Thresh just walks up and starts fishing. Yeah,
I'm really surprised about that. Remember, the Soraka is a good answer here because it has the harass, the silence, so you can actually get on top of the Tristana, the healing as well, but they just go in for the skirmishing factor. Have the Thresh, NT's incredibly confident on it, and so you can play around the double engage in the bottom lane. It's very apparent what JP want to do here.
We'll see how that works out for them as they are now running that double support with Varus and Xin. On the other side, you've got yourselves nearly four massive damage champions on the Zoe, Camille, Tristana, and Cho'Gath if he manages to get enough health. So Macau looking to go for their own setup and composition, perhaps going to be trying to contest these Scuttle Crabs a little bit more with that Zoe lane control, with that Camille bullying, and of course Cho'Gath trying to out-wave clear against an Ornn.
Yeah, definitely. Mid-lane jungle duo is going to be what we get to see a lot more here.
This TAC makes his way down to the bottom lane, but now that's it. The team's rushing out onto the map. Raz, do we have any potential for any early skirmishes? Any level 1 action?
Good question, I would say, from Japan's side. Obviously, Thresh walking up with play is something you should be afraid of. Xin Zhao has a great slow as well as his dash, so that's a possibility. No, I don't think any team has any clear advantage, and that's what's worrying. So I think both teams will actually just kind of fan out. Even though they're fanning out, they're not going to go for a deep invade, late invade. Unless if Astra and Eva, no, they're just getting vision.
Yeah, they just set up a ward on top of that blue buff to keep an eye on the starting path of Camille. Eva's still hanging out down here at the 1 minute mark, and now you can see Saros has been pulled over there as well. TAC did place a river ward that was spotted out by Japan's bottom lane. They're going to try to duck into the brush before any vision gets in there. Maybe look for some early laning cheese to start off with some early aggression, but take a look at that. GG, man. And NH now heading down to the bottom side of the map for that Camille red start.
It's already clear to us just based off of how NT and Yutori Moyashi are positioning that starting in lane, Xin Zhao is going to try and trade side. So Xin Zhao starting top side red buff should now look towards contesting blue buff on the opposite side. It's an interesting decision because I'm actually really worried a lot of the pressure was built in towards Yutori Moyashi and NT really early on in just the pick and ban phase. So they should now really worry about the pressure coming in. It's actually just going to start in level 2.
Yeah, NH looking for the level 2 gank. Already Yutori has backed away. NT, though, gets an early play. Flashes out NH, and that's first blood picked up on the GG man as he disrespects the Thresh damage in the minion wave.
They are too damn good. I'm just going to outright say it. You make one mistake in the laning phase, and they just blast you. That should have been... I mean, it was a flash coming out of NT, but it should have been a double flash. It should have been an outright
Yutori,
painful
yeah, it was
moment
so
for NT.
far back.
So I just felt like that was obviously misplayed coming in from GG, man. Should have waited a little bit more for NH to be in position. It didn't happen. And so now the entire process... Oh, okay.
Whoa, Saros to the Ignite! Ignite goes down as Error picks up a redemption early on and gets the outplay onto Seros.
Flashed into the Paddle Star.
Yeah, Asterore, though, he could be in trouble. Error has got a flash and the Spell Thief's flash, so Asterore decides he wants nothing to do with that and lets Zoe go. But bit of a mistake from Seros.
A few times already in this tournament that we've just seen Zoe take a level, like an early level kill into the matchup. It's just way too hard to predict when it ends up happening. Because remember the pick potential from Sleepy Trouble. The Q, Paddlestar does a lot of damage early on if you can set up for it. And we don't even know if she was able to get anything off of the Spell Thieves in the wave. So it's interesting to see that happen. It's just really poor that Seros ended up killing himself by flashing into it.
Certainly the tragedy. He's still got his own Ignite in lane, and we just saw NH steal away the blue buff of Japan on that bottom side of the map, and is still hanging out behind Yutori and Enti. So they're falling back with the minion wave. They know they've got that river warded, but still Camille can come over the wall on a very wacky angle and try to dodge through that vision.
So it's the job of Asteroid just to find out where Camille is. Because you want your lanes to thrive. You pick pretty low. Okay.
X-Flash and the play and the hook. Auto attacks being traded. The target's Yutori. GG Man goes low as they reposition with that dark passage, and Yutori locks down the kill. Meanwhile, Tak, he's still got his teleport. He leaps in, but gets flayed out of mid-air. Denied.
That's all Enti has to look for. Which is why I'm surprised he used this play to begin with to get the skirmish going. Because he just didn't care where the Camille was. He was like, if Camille shows up, then Camille shows up. Was good enough, or at least the position was good enough that it worked out and just turned into a 2v2. And so he's able to get his play back off cooldown just to catch the Tristana in midair.
Oh,
so
man.
well done.
That sends a message, if ever there was one. Macau now in a bit of trouble, though NH did start off with that 3 buff start. He's still even in CS with Asterore, and we're still looking to see how Error will use this first kill advantage as he picks himself up that Dark Seal and boots, and that's okay. The minion dodged it. Sometimes it happens. Minions have smarter AI than people. But Seros steps up, and again, just immediately dropping the Ignite that he just picked up. And now he's got another redemption.
Yep, you just have so many abilities in the lane. Now Asteroid has to stop this nonsense. He literally just has to be here and be like, well, calm yourself.
That's the redemption, plus a flash to try and catch up. Paddlestar and a melee range Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Error gets that one. As teleport from 2 members to protect him on the way out.
Error is so good. Didn't care that he saw Asteroid on the vision. Saw the minion, or he saw the ward being cleared out, and he was like, I'm going to get the kill fast enough and have TP. So well communicated, and it seems like JF and Tak are fine. They don't have to TP in and then help him.
Even the teleport's being canceled as Enti didn't get the chance to try and deny it. Same thing out of Eevee in that top lane. And now it's 2-2 in kills. We're seeing a lot of gold on this bottom side of the map. Moby's picked up from Enti. But again, that Zoe finally cresting over to level 6. We already saw what happened when she manages to get a little bit of burst. That could very well increase. Hex Flash is being channeled. Meanwhile, knock up and engage from Eevee as he ticks over and all-ins on JF.
Oh.
That's the knock-up Brittle. Stalls it out, but doesn't do enough damage as Eevee just doesn't have the mana.
Remember, this is on a cannon waves. JF is going to be sitting here just so he can farm up. But in ordinary circumstances, JF would get tower dove here. So you can just see that this was not communicated well enough. Evi coming into the lane would have been able to do this, but Asteroid is in the opposite side of the map. So Jeff is going to be fine and going to be able to pick up the wave for himself. That's the thing with the sustain here. Cho'Gath can always get all in, but the thing is, if you don't get him down, he's going to be able to sit on the tower.
Up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he's still in a fine position. It is now nearly half HP.
NT, again, just trying to Hex Flash play with the vision in this bottom lane. Asterore's making his way through the jungle on the bottom half, and NH looks to be doing the same thing. Still only level 5 out of both of those junglers, as they cannot affect their lanes too much unless they find themselves with a clever gank. It's nice and defensive from the bottom lane of Yutori and NT. They're not taking any chances. They clear out that ward. They make sure NH can't sneak through the tri-bush. Evi, holy cow. We got there. Still in that top lane. Has not recalled yet. He's got no mana and is trying to keep pace with the Cho'Gath, who has now gotten level 6, gotten himself a feast for even more health and more sustain with that passive.
Here's the thing for all you people out there don't watch much in terms of the Japanese games. really slow, I would say. They really value the laning phase, and there's not much that disrupts it. As comparison to like Macau, that a lot of these players are in the LMS, or at least not the LMS themselves, but the LMS Challenger.
Yeah.
A few of them are playing as Challenger teams in the region. So a little bit more hectic from them. So you see a lot of action.
No,
here.
and again, Error finds the flash, picks it up, and escapes with his life. He is just outplaying the heck out of Zeros.
3-0 to 0-3. Every single instance has not been working well for Zeros at all.
20 CS lead for Error, as again, he just finds the outplay. Zeros panics and flashes away, and Error says, thank you very much. I don't have a flash, but now I do. And just finds that excellent outplay. Things are starting to look a little bit better for Macau. If their bottom lane might not be doing great, if their top lane might not be doing great, it's up to Error to almost single-handedly carry the game on this Zoe.
Yeah, going into the game, we talked about the jungle mid lane duo and how it was going to be a coin flip in a sense. It depended on how the setup was going to happen. Now it's really just heavily in favor of Error. So as long as Error backs up, or at least NH backs up Error, because Error should feel enabled to do this time and time again.
Yeah.
So all NH needs to do, once he pings, now he's 7, head towards the mid lane, look for some of these dives, if not just try and enable Error to leave the lane, and this should just be your win condition.
Again, landing the sleep, even just walks up for the auto attack, doesn't even use the paddle star, charges up a second, but Zeros dodges that one. Ooh,
And the clap
somebody get that
passive-
man some boots.
I know, right? The passive coming in, so every single time he throws out a paddle star, if it doesn't hit, he can still chip at the towers. The tower's been taking a lot of hurt throughout this time, and may turn into a major focus from this team. So
Yeah,
it's
using that more glitter.
It's making Tax's life a lot easier because now he has a lot more pressure relieved from him. Now the Asterare is going to be focusing mid lane.
Already we can see some very aggressive vision placed from Macau to keep an eye on Asterore. One just died on that wolf camp, and there is still a control ward sitting in front of that ocean dragon as NH passes blue buff over to Error, and Levi might be the next target to run into trouble there as NH just takes himself that scuttle crab.
There we go. Control wards top side too means that the path towards top lane is cleared. It's much more efficient for them to be pathing towards top lane and getting a kill on towards Eva.
And Error just playing Zoe to the maximum effect. Portal jump into taunt. Always a favorite combo.
Excellent.
As Asterore actually just going to solo down this ocean dragon. I don't think that he's in vision. He's been spotted now as he walks through that pixel brush. But NH in that mid lane keeps Zeros locked down. So maybe they were looking for a dive. Maybe they're looking for something, but Asterore is able to play around it and still find an advantage. Not to mention, it's an ocean dragon. That's sustained for the Lulu. She can't be one hit by Zoe. So that should keep her a little bit safer in lane.
It's a good decision ultimately to be protecting Zoe, but at the same time supporting your bottom lane constantly. Yutori has showed in MSI that he is a phenomenal AD carry that needs support from the jungle to make the pressure realized. So he's been chipping at this tower. They can dive. It's very easy to dive at Tristana and Karma with the Thresh. So he just needs to be here. Doesn't necessarily need the Lulu. So let's see if it ends up coming through.
Asterore is setting up for it. The wave is crashing in, but it's not a cannon wave. Those melees are going down real quick. Yutori misses the chains of corruption. Tax still going to rocket jump away. NT again missing that death sense. The minion wave is cleared out, but Asterore is still waiting there.
This is just Xin Zhao feeling sad. His bottom lane missed their abilities.
All of the abilities.
Every single one of them.
But that's Macau's bottom lane playing safe as the GLP gets a slow onto Zeros.
He tried to use the
Which
GLP.
one was the no? The fact that he missed the Sleepy Trouble Bubble, or the fact that Zeros wasn't killed there?
He wasn't killed there. Because at the time, using GLP to set up your Sleepy Trouble Bubble is an ingenious idea. I love it.
Setting up for the slow.
So like when it was coming across, I was like, no, he's so smart.
Oh,
I didn't even think of that.
Uh-oh, NH is actually perhaps setting up for the dive. He did spot Asterore pathing near that mid lane. Like you said, the mid-tier 1 is getting chipped lower and lower. Take a look at this. Zeros actually built the Raptor's Cloak as he's trying to go for what appears to be Banner of Command. And the Wild Growth defensively. He is so terrified.
It's protect yourself at all times, and he was going to go to sleep, so you got to protect yourself in your sleep. When you put some,
the dream catcher.
I was about to say, I was about
there.
to call it a spider web, which would have been
Spider web.
Yeah.
I saw where you were going there, and I was like, I'll let it sit for a moment. What is he gonna come up with?
Oh, yes, you are much more cultured than I am.
Like last time when you called Kled's Mount Scarl a horse.
That was awesome.
It's a Dracolith, I believe it is.
I think so.
Not a Dracolich. That's something else.
Oh. Hey, you're the lore man.
I am. You know, there's actually a rumor that, all right, NT, never mind. We'll get back to that later. As Yutori finishes off the tier 1, Tack goes in, doesn't get flayed out of it, but he just goes in towards his death. Teleport coming in and completed from Evi, who's looking for GG Man, gets the knock up, and T does not follow up with a death sentence, so that Karma's allowed to escape. Meanwhile, Asterore and Seros defending the mid lane, but the tier 1 is traded in answer. First brick, though, goes to Japan. Asterore able to get around. Paddlestar goes sideways, and a flash gets him to safety. Error not able to pick up that flash in the back.
I'm upset.
Actually,
Let's keep the
NT's
ball
on the way.
rolling.
Eva is on the way as well. Here comes JF trying to collapse. Meanwhile, Flash is ready for Error so we can make it over the wall. NH just sitting in that pixel brush, scouts it out. Teleport from Tristana to defend that mid minion wave as Error clears out this ward with JF.
And look, I know it was like 40 seconds ago, but Tak jumped into his death.
He did.
What?
He already got flayed out of the jump once.
He jumped into them.
Yeah, we're not quite sure what happened there.
Maybe he was expecting a TP from one of his teammates. That's the only thing I got here, because ultimately you're obviously going to jump away. I think he saw a play. That's the only thing I got.
JF's cooldown is pretty close to having that teleport. Maybe he tried to use it in the play.
Possible.
It is. Seros gets himself blue buff. At which point, Raz, as a jungler, at which point do you stop giving your mid laner blue buff? Is it after the 3rd kill?
You know my answer.
It's never.
I would never
give a blue buff.
The moment he died once.
Yeah. And that's why I've stopped playing mid lane entirely. I am self-sufficient in the bottom lane. As again, Tack goes in. Chains of Corruption misses. Meanwhile, NH and NT looking for some damage as Error goes forward. They kill Asterore. That piercing arrow misses NH, but Error is ready. He uses that smite and picks up a flash. Remember, he used his own earlier. Portal jump, no flash. Yutori and NT dodge it around. Oh boy, don't want to walk on that.
Error is an actual boss this game. He is solo winning them this fight. Now, double banner is one thing that could have been touched on, but I feel like it's never becoming an issue because Error is always in their face.
All right, there's the Sleepy Trouble bubble. Seros again eats more damage. He's got Wild Growth, and Ignite is ready. Paddlestar, ooh, still tags on to NT. That Luden's proc is doing some work.
Oh
and
my
more damage
goodness.
onto Seros. They are losing this turret. Yutori can't even walk up to the minion wave. Error is single-handedly winning this. There's the Wild Growth. Paddlestar for the chase, plus the Ignite. That's an auto attack from Tak, and he gets the kill. Flay pulls him back in, but he's reset it. He's got the shield. Glitter Lance and the Ignite ticking away, but Seros is now tagged by the bubble. Error is just firing non-stop. It's NT who eats the damage. Error with the portal jump caught by the death sentence. Flay pulls him back in. He doesn't have the cooldown, but dies to GG Man. What on earth is happening? Plus a rupture onto Seros. Macau are just entirely inside of the backpack of Error. They have just knees to the chest tucked in there. Nice and comfy cozy because they are getting absolutely carried.
Yep. If this was a Valve game, I'm telling you right now, Error is completely banned. He's backing. He wouldn't be playing anymore.
Oh,
absolute suspicion.
God.
This is insanity. The fact that this game should be completely set by the fact that Yutori Moyashi and NT are doing well this game. That's what the narrative should be. The fact that Japan should be carrying this one through. But Error specifically has been so on point with everything that there has never been a time in which Japan can utilize the banner of command minions that they have available to themselves.
Like you said, double banner from Seros and Eevee to try and deal with that Zoe. It's 8-10. But uh-oh, GG Man. Ooh, that's not the place you want your Karma to be, Eevee. Oop! You hate to see that happen. That's the slow and the knock-up, but still, they chase down the kill and pass it over to Asterore.
There we go. They're gonna
But
journey
again,
in the jungle.
also, we do have to give credit to Error. He does not have a Mage Ice. He resisted the temptation. Looked at the 4-0-2 scoreline.
You should flex on them.
He very well could at this point, as he is getting blue buff after blue buff, just clearing out wave after wave and keeping Japan from trying to expand this advantage. That said, you can only imagine how the comms are going when the only lane that's died is the bottom lane. GG lane, or sorry, GG man, yeah, might as well be GG lane, and tack.
What I'm interested in is the fact that there's a lot of skirmishing happening here. But this is usually when Yutori Mayashi should be in a really good spot with his item build. But he's actually going towards the crit build on Varus. Now, a lot of the times there's been an evolution towards AP because the recipes feel so much better, especially with the passive damage that Varus has for himself. And while I would say that the late game damage coming from Varus would be optimal with crit, it's just a long road and it feels bad. So you can tell right now, even though he's the Fed member on the team, he still has a long way to grow to bridge what seems to be the item gap.
Hopefully he'll get the time, because the longer this game goes, the more damage that Zoe is going to do. Plus you've got the late game insurance of a Tristana. There's the Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Somehow finding Yutori as Rift Herald is used bottom. There's no defense from Japan here. And Macau break down that bottom tier 1, 3 turrets to 1, Raz.
And Rift Herald forces you to always answer the pressure, so you cannot split this pressure. You need to defend this tower.
Next big charge, half health out of the tier 2, but a quick auto attack. Chunks down the remaining health on that Rift Herald as the minion wave is cleared out. Macau are still looking, they are still hunting. Error gets denied his kill by that minion wave, but that's not going to stop him because he's got blue buff and he's ready to keep firing. There's the paddle star. He finds Aurora, who tries to get the engage, knock up, and they found Error. Have they got the CC? Finally, Error goes down, but all of that gold from Macau is now missing. The teleport is ready from Eevee to try and cut them off with the minion wave, but he's just going to run them down from the front line as Yutori did use his Chains of Corruption. Piercing Arrow finds JF. That's the flash death sentence. They get JF, and they find another kill. Aurora trying to chase his Dark Passage slow. Tags NH, but he's got Hookshot to try and retreat. GG Man flashes away from Aurora.
There we go. Finally got the Empowered Q from Karma. It had to be either the Empowered Q or Ease to get the movement speed boost, but the moment GG Man moved away from his team, it was not going to help them.
Ooh, that death sentence was looking, and Japan might actually still try to be pushing with this next minion wave. Remember, they did have double banner on both Seros and Evi, but Seros is in the mid lane. Evi builds himself a quick item. Looks like he's not going to use it here.
Yeah,
just pushes up with his team.
Wrestle back a lot of gold. Bottom lane tower, already working on mid lane tower too. It's not going to turn into the actual, oh my god, is that a teleport?
Yeah, it is. JF trying to flank. And T looks for the death sentence. NH is now very far away from his team. Macau think they're the ones collapsing. But Japan are going to walk collectively as a group. Error flashes over the wall, lands the trouble bubble, but a Dark Passage pulls him back to safety. The flash engage. They've managed to find Yutori. He's caught by the wild growth, but is still alive. Look at the AoE. Finally, he goes down, but NH will trade his life over. Evi gets a knockup as JF will chase over for that kill. Talk with the reset does not follow, and it ends up being 2 for 1.
That was a really well played Sleepy Trouble Bubble here. It made it so there is no running away from Yutori Mayashi. So Yutori has to stand and fight. Now 2 members dead on the side of Japan, and it's going to be an easy push for Macau.
Now onto this mid-tier 2 without the wave clear of Varus, without the safety of Ornn. Like you said, the tier 2 is broken. The banner of command completion from Macau gets them back onto the map. 4 turrets to 1. And it is now a 1,500 gold lead for Macau.
There we go. Yeah, they're heading back to base now. Macau finally, at least specifically Talk, is starting to get damage underneath him. Has the static shift to his name. He's building up the BF sword. So right now, all the question about him getting carried is starting to come through. I wonder why he's staying on the map. That means that he's likely very close to another core item. So I wonder if he has double dagger. Could that be going to a second Zeal item before he even finishes his Infinity Edge?
Rapid fire cannon, just the maximum crit before IE. Again, patch 810. Yeah, there's the Zeal. Not quite enough to finish off that next Zeal item. But Yutori Miyashi, he's already finished off his Blade of the Ring King and Quinsus, as we talked about earlier.
He's trying to be as strong as possible just for the next fight, because it seems like the next fight could be the game-deciding one.
Yeah. Baron is up. Next dragon in 30 seconds. That's another ocean dragon that I'm sure Japan would love at this point. But Evi, with his teleport, pushing in the bottom lane, pulls the attention of JF, who does not have his own teleport. So there is a window of opportunity for Japan to try to get back on the map and use that teleport pressure to create an opening.
It's definitely possible. Remember the 2 pick potential I said, Varus and the Thresh. So look towards them, because if they can get that, double banner minion mid lane, or just a single one even, they can wrestle back a lot of the gold that they had not been able to answer back with. That mid lane tower is so low, so it just depends, and if Japan could really get that one costly pick.
Macau trying to rush down Evi, but he recognizes something is amiss. His team is off the map, so he backs away from JF and keeps his life. That does mean Macau get themselves the Ocean Dragon. Next one is Infernal. So this game is getting spicy as Macau sit from comfortably inside the backpack of Error, just like Banjo-Kazooie, are starting to fire back. GG Man gets caught by that death sentence, and the call of the Forge God Yutori finds himself a kill, and Asterore finishes off the tier 1.
That's what I was talking about. GG Man down now. You can comfortably place a bannered minion here.
Error.
Are you kidding me? How does that happen?
To have made a mistake.
What the heck?
Saros is flashed. Error might have tried to pick it up and maybe made a mistake, but that's 2 members dead. And now that's not just 1, but that's 2 turrets gone out of Macau, the mid-tier 1 and the tier 2. Now they're maneuvering towards the Baron.
Yeah, no Karma, no Zoe, no clue. Don't know how they're going to be able to fight this one out. No damage, even though you'd look towards the Tristana. She hasn't had the Infinity Edge for herself. I guess they could maybe try and split some tower damage. They can push this mid lane wave in. Remember, bottom lane wave is in their favor, so Macau is not completely... Oh my god, are you kidding me?
They're setting up a trap. Asterore over the wall. There goes the target. It's JF. They've got a lot of crowd control and even more damage. He goes down to Yutori. And now that Baron threat is even stronger, but Error and GG Man have respawned. And the waves are pushing in to Japan, so perhaps a bit of hesitation might have cost them there.
Yeah, that's being too cute. The moment that you recognize you can take Baron, you should just take Baron. That's a larger lead objectively, and even if you're looking for a pick, looking for another kill, that is a risky play. So I'm not too sure why they didn't just go for the plan. A lot of the times teams do get burned by just going for Baron, by either making a mistake turning or just losing it off a smite battle. So they probably were just fearing the
Smite steal from NH, yeah.
Yeah.
Asterore, level 11. NH, level 11, decides still doesn't want to take any chances. And yes, it is the rapid fire cannon finish from Tak before Infinity Edge, so he's going to start doing some big damage once he manages to find people in these upcoming fights. And of course, Tristana getting that additional range to provide more poke and harass before these fights is going to be very important. But Error, whoa, gets a lot of damage as he uses that Spell Thief's flash and hits the Sleepy Trouble Bubble. But Asterore, at such low health, is now going to have to back off of the map.
I wonder about that, because yes, he is. But remember what this means now that Zoe has to go into a double Ocean Dragon team. Because sure, he's going to base, but that won't be the case for a lot of these teams if he gets a lot of these players, if he gets a pick across, if he gets just a bit of poke damage. So it feels bad for Zoe, who was doing so well this game. Now with double Ocean Dragon that she's going up against, that the sustain might actually top him up.
Very well could. The Baron is still being contested by both of these teams. Lots of vision on either side. As Japan are holding their ground. They're still up by about 2,000 gold after winning those massive fights, but the turrets are still in favor of Macau by 1. And the inhibitor line has not been broken. So this game can still go either way. We've seen some huge outplays from Macau in these fights, but Yutori is getting bigger and bigger. He's got himself that QSS. Trinity Force nearly completed from Asterore.
Yeah, and what I'm looking at right now is the Ardent Sensor here coming out for Saros. So now he's gotten to a useful stage in the game. He was getting blasted earlier on.
Oh, yeah.
And now he has 2 of the support items that we really wanted to see from him, so he can empower Yutori and Maashi. So right now, it's going to be all Varus that we get to really see and what he can do here. NH, hello.
Gets caught there. He's able to make it over the wall. Despite the slow still reaching him, Wild Growth from Saros does not get the knockup.
Yeah, it doesn't get the knockup to cancel his hook shot. Unfortunate. But they should just go Baron. I know the pings are coming across from Japan to push up top lane, but pushing out NH like that, usually you'll just run the Baron.
Evi still has his own teleport. Control Ward misses him, but Evi is the target once again from Macau. He doesn't have Flash this time, and Tak tries to chase him down. That's that Zeal item in action, but not enough damage. He does find Call of the Forge God onto Tak, gets that Brittle proc, and is trying to get over there as teleport is canceled. Baron was started by Japan while that was happening. but they will cancel after seeing the teleport of Macau.
Don't know what they're afraid of. They knew that 3 people were chasing down Evi. At this point in time, they're gotten to an unreal position where they're afraid of just about everything. I know that Japan's been known for being risk, just not a region
averse.
yeah, exactly. They're not a team or a region that wants to take risks. So it's gotten to an extreme in this game where they're not able to just take an advantage positionally because they're not willing to lose a smite battle.
It could very well cost them if they continue to be this hesitant. As Infinity Edge is now finished now for Yutori. Still getting closer to that Triforce, but like we said, NH has got his own. Error has finished 2 items, and the Infinity Edge of TAC is getting even closer. That late game scaling from Macau is getting bigger, but that's the Baron being started. Yutori is spotted out by the Scuttle Crab. He's in the front. Error walks up, but misses the first Paddle Star. Lands Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Eevee trying to get in front and block these hits. Baron is going to land a knockup along with the Rupture. He's starting to do some damage with that Corruption. Redemption tries to reset the fight, but it goes forward. JF in the front lands a great Barrel Scream. Sleepy Trouble Bubble splits them up as Macau run Japan off. Redemption allows them to fill up, but here comes Call of the Forge God. The target is only going to hit NH. Evi in the front. Rupture finds Asterore. That's Wild Growth. Knock up on the 2 as Evi goes in. He trades his life. Asterore not able to kill GG Man in the back line. They find another. NT backs it up, and TAC has got the reset. Saros goes low, and Saros goes down. Yutori is already dead. Sorry, Saros is still alive as he is running, but he has got nowhere to go. Tries to recall, but will inevitably die. Actually, it looks like they're letting him go. Finally, Error walks up. Portal Jump Ignite locks down the kill, and Macau just turned onto the Baron to finish what Japan started.
Yep, I mean, this is what happened. Now, ultimately, Japan did go to start it. So they did exactly what I said and they lost because of the worst fear imaginable of missing all of your abilities. Yutori actually sent out the ultimate. It didn't hit. NT tried. Didn't work out as well. And then, of course, Evi sent out his ultimate when they were trying to kite back and re-engage, and that was ineffective. So a lot of the abilities that they used to turn, because that was the proper call, is to turn to fight, poorly executed.
It seems like we're starting to see some team fight miscommunications out of Macau in this game, or sorry, out of Japan in this game. They had the right idea, but they didn't commit to it in time, and they ended up paying the price. Infernal Dragon has spawned. Japan making their way back onto the map, cannot make it in time. And Infernal Dragon is picked up. Macau are being propelled out of this early game carry from Error, out of this mid-game carry from TAC, and now they're starting to reach the late game. They've got that Baron buff. They've got Banner of Command. It was just used by JF. This siege is about to get real scary, and if Japan had difficulty fighting around the Baron, they're going to have even more difficulty fighting around their base.
And this is an amazing siege for a Zoe player who can just be on side, clear out the control ward. In fact, they don't even need that.
All of the Forge God used again. The knockup only finds one as NH jumps away. Evi at half health and now getting lower as TAC knocks him away. Is shielded up as he tanks the turret and breaks it down. Turns to the inhibitor next. And yes, they cleared out the banner, and cannon. But this is a massive minion wave still pushing in, and GG Man and the rest of Macau have still got that Baron buff for more than half the duration.
Yeah, and they're going to be moving on to the next play. Look at how far back this minion wave is. So would have been nice if they had been paying attention to some of their lanes at the same time. But good on them. Here's a positive. Once they get this one pushed out, they can actually meet the top lane wave that is astronomically large.
Yeah.
So if they can work quickly enough, they can still keep the ball rolling.
That wave is about the size of Garen's ego as it's pushing into that top tier 2. NH split pushes. He's now been spotted, separated from his team. And Asterore is rushing to defend. GG Man is on the way to follow up with some support, but Asterore gets there first, and they decide to back off of the minion wave. Still might be able to break it down. Those double cannons doing some damage. JF pushes in. Meanwhile, Error follows up. The top tier 2 goes down, but JF goes low. He's trying to get out of this fight with his life and survives only barely. But the minion wave top is still pushing. Asterore tries to chase in. Not able to get enough as Redemption set to heal them off. The death sentence misses NH. Error is slowed, but he's still got flash. Battlestar onto Eevee. He sidesteps the first knockup, but eats the second. as Eric continues to kite it out.
Comes
Evie
the
trying to
TP.
follow through. JF is behind them. He's back at full health. He healed up. And Tak joins in for the fight. Macau are cleaning this fight up. A double kill. And even more. The Quadra now being turned over. The triple kill, sorry. But that's the ace. Japan have been destroyed by Macau.
Last ditch effort. Pour one out for Japan. They get absolutely demolished on the flank. JF and Asterore. My goodness. Asterore got demolished just because of NH's flank. So that's how the cookie crumbles. That's a win from them.
They break down those Nexus turrets, and Macau upsetting this matchup against Japan take the win in this Asia Games qualifier.